Jack, how are you this fine morning?
Great, Matthew. Lovely to see you again.
So what's happening? I noticed a slight change of scenario, your end.
Well, Matthew, I'm here stuck at home. I'm feeling a little bit a little cabin fever, and I thought it's like being in prison, isn't it? Now, what's the most famous prison in the world? I think of Alcatraz. You're on this rock in the middle of a bay, and even if you could escape from the prison, you'd never make it past the sharks that are circling around the island. So, not far from Alcatraz, of course, we know is this beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. It's a bridge to somewhere else, and that's what I'm doing here this morning. I'm taking a bridge from being here in London to being stuck in the house to a wonderful, beautiful part of the world.
I love it. So the Birdman of Brixton sets himself free in his mind. Loving it, loving it, loving it. So
Perfect.
you're a philosopher, you're a thinker. What has been passing through your mind of late?
What's really been occupying me and a lot of the people I speak to is just this uncertain environment that we're in right now. And I suppose this is an uncertainty. It feels like an uncertainty like we've never known before. Things are different, probably more different in a way than anything I've ever experienced before. And people are saying the same thing. Now, I know that we've been talking about VUCA environments and, how to embrace volatility and uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity. But this is probably more uncertainty than we had all bargained for. So I feel like people have been caught by surprise, and this is obviously going to affect people in a lot of different ways.
I love it. I love it. I mean, VUCA and VUCA and all that volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. For those people who are not up with the zeitgeist, and it's nice to do it in the classroom, isn't it? But it's utterly different to experience it at the food queue outside Lidl. It's yeah. There's a different thing when it's like there's the recession and there's the depression. The recession is they've lost their job. The depression is I've lost my job as well. We're going to DEFCON 2 on this one. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's just really important for people to kind of accept that we are in uncertain times, and those things that are out of our control seem like they're much bigger than they were a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yes, so we've got catastrophizing and other stuff. So we're going from the theory, and there's always been some sort of background of it could happen or something could happen. And of course, I mean, there was that nice post. We've had Ebola, E. coli, and SARS and VARS and 2008 subprime crash. We've had, and something that you might refer to in a moment. So there's sort of a crisis every year. But this one does feel different, doesn't it?
It does, because we just find ourselves in just a completely different environment and a completely different reality. And I think for a lot of people, it's just brought more things into the sphere of uncertainty in their lives, if we pick a phrase to describe that.
No, understood, understood. So, is uncertainty new? Give us your autobiography. Is this your
Yeah,
first chapter of uncertainty ever?
no, and I think this is a really important thing to remember. And one of the things I get people to do, Matthew, is just to think about right now what's in their uncertainty zone and what's more in their certainty zone. And part of the reason for doing this is just to remind people of how they what is not uncertain and how they've responded to uncertainty in the past. And I think this is generally with qualities that people have. They can be character strengths, they can be virtues. What I think, no matter what happens in this crisis, if I my short to medium term income becomes more uncertain, if the health of my well-being, my own well-being, and the own health of my family and the people I love becomes more uncertain, there are some things that I can absolutely rely on. And I think about being responsive, being resilient, being adaptive, being creative. And in a strange way, in an uncertain environment, these qualities become more certain. And I think this is where, for people just to remember the things that no matter what happens in the external environment, that they will take forward into the uncertain reality that will come.
I love it. So it's almost a practical idea, rather like the gratitude list. We could have the superpowers list.
Mm,
Have you had some good years? Is the government helping out? Can you apply for a grant? But we'll get on to opportunities at some other time. But really, there's the audit of what we have. which
Mm.
we lose, don't we? So we become super focused, like pessimists, when there's really no need to be completely a catastrophizer. Is there, however, an argument to sort of take it down and be real with yourself? What do you feel about that?
Absolutely, and I think one of the one of the strange ways of being real with yourself is just to think of what is the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, do you really think that you're going to end up, you're going to end
yeah,
up on the street
yeah,
begging for crusts of bread? And to project forward into the worst possible thing can be actually kind of a relief because we
yeah,
realize, that thing that maybe that fear part of ourselves is imagining is really, really very probably not going to happen because you or everyone will have these strengths and characteristics to draw on in these times of crisis. And also, Matthew, I just wanted to say that what psychological research has shown is that we tend to overestimate the impact of negative events on our lives. And I'm talking about really negative events like the loss of our reputation, the complete loss of our income, the tragic loss of someone we love. When people
yeah,
are
yeah,
asked,
yeah, yeah.
how bad will this be and how long will this be? Will this effectively ruin your life? People say 6 months, 2 years, forever. Where in actuality, what happens, what people report, even after a catastrophic happening, is that 6 months, 2 years down the line, they say, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I still think about that thing. It still impacts me.
yeah,
Yes, it has
yeah,
changed my life to a
yeah.
certain extent, but I've moved on. And this capability that we all have as human beings to move on, to react to uncertain times, I think in these times can be a big comfort to people.
I love it. And associated with that, the people watching this, you out there, your resourcefulness and amazingness that is conscious has got you to where you are. And it can easily, if you fall down the snakes and ladders to the first square, get you there again. And there's the other side of your unexplored superpowers. So there's a lot of resourcefulness in our day job. I don't know what percentage of skill we're using or our percentage of magic we're using, but it's not 100%. And so there's the opportunity to dig and delve and reflect and to find that as well.